Loading program, Trekommendations.
Hello and welcome to Trekommendations, a Star Trek podcast that brings on a fabulous guest to share something wonderful in the world of Star Trek. And today we have an Emmy Award-winning meteorologist who just so happens to be a massive Trekkie. It's the one and only Katie Nickolaou.
Hello. Lovely to see everyone.
Well, thank you thank you for coming on and thank you for bringing the energy.
Oh, no problem. I got like a 7-hour nap in, so I feel great.
I finished a 10-hour workday, then came home.
Oh, well.
and it's now like 8 p.m. So, we're coming at this from different spectrums, but that's absolutely fine. That's the infinite diversity that they talk about in Star Trek. It's levels of tiredness.
Yeah, they were talking about exhaustion.
Before we jump into some calibration questions, I will once again beg the dear audience to help me in my never-ending fight against the algorithm. If you can, comment on the video, share it with a friend, subscribe if you're not, leave a review if you're listening to this on a podcast app. Any of those things will help bump us up in the charts, in the rankings, or maybe just make us visible to people that would be interested in this show. And of course, if you leave a comment or you write a review or things like that, they might get read out at the end of the episode as well. So, there's a little bonus for you there. I might even pepper in some reminders through the episode, because apparently you have to ask people 3 times before they do it. So who knew? But that's what psychologists makes more sense. That's what they say. Anyway, on that fumble, let's move into some calibration questions.
I love it.
Calibrating.
So recently I shifted to having a default first question for all my guests, which is your favorite Star Trek show?
Oh, it's a good question, and I think I've finally decided for the moment. You never know, new Treks will come out, but I think I'm stuck with Star Trek Voyager.
Yeah, I like it. It's a good answer. Is there, beyond Janeway, is there a reason that what is it that because I like the idea that this wasn't because sometimes you ask people in like Deep Space Nine and it's like no hesitation, they're just in there.
Yeah.
And you're like, after some consideration, I've given it a lot of thought. I'm curious, what was it that just kind of gave it that little boost to get ahead of all the other incredible Star Trek shows?
Ooh, I think it was the bodiliness of it, like being stuck on a ship in space. It's a ship in a bottle, basically. Yeah. Because I enjoy Deep Space Nine, and I love, like, Jadzia Dax is my favorite Star Trek character, and I also started with The Next Generation, but there's just something about Voyager. If I have a bad day, I want to watch Voyager. If I have a good day, I want to watch Voyager. I just keep getting drawn back to seeing the interpersonal connections. And honestly, it might just be because we lived through COVID, and that sense of I am on a ship in my house trapped alone. That sense, I think it just made it a little bit more relatable.
Right. I don't think I've ever heard anyone make that comparison, but it is very good. When you were stuck in like your bubble, whether that was family bubble, work bubble, whatever it may have been, and you're like, these are the people I'm allowed to associate with, and that is it. You might as well be in the Delta Quadrant at that point.
Because I was in the Delta Quadrant of the United States. I was in South Dakota. Like, at the time, there wasn't much. So now that definitely is my go-to reason why. It was because of COVID.
Yeah, I like it. No further questions. That's an absolutely fantastic answer. Here's a much more open-ended question for you, Katie. Is there a planet within Star Trek that you would most like to visit, or, considering the nature of your work, study?
Oh, see, immediately my brain went to Risa because of their weather control grid. Meteorologists, especially like nowadays, we always get told, oh, you can control the weather. You do stuff behind the scenes, conspiracies. And it's just kind of like, no, one supercell thunderstorm has the same power at times of 5 atomic bombs. We can't control that. And so to have them just straight up be like, oh yeah, it's a tropical planet, but we controlled that weather. It's fine. I want to know how. Yeah. So I want to study it and also have a nice vacation. So combo move.
It's funny because I've asked this question, a similar question in the past that was like, which planet would you like to go to? And obviously Risa comes up because people are like,
oh yeah,
it's like a holiday planet. Who wouldn't want to go there? But I love the idea that you're like, okay, I'll have a couple of days just to relax before I start tampering with this weather control system, just to work out how does it work. So can I make a storm? Oh, I can.
Yeah. I can just have a tornado outside my room.
Yeah.
Please. Oh, that'd be brilliant. Thank you. Like, the customer service here is amazing.
Yeah. The question is then, do we trust you to use this power for good or ill? That's the question. It's like,
Good question.
we've given Katie the power to control weather. She's basically Storm at this point, but
Yeah.
comes back to Earth. We're like, well, I don't know.
We'll see what she does with it. Honestly, I tell people all the time, like, if I could control the weather, I would just change the seasons for my yard in particular. I would have blizzard conditions one day and make snow forts for everyone, then switch it out for a tornado. You could just walk through a little weak one.
I mean, I don't go that deep down the rabbit hole of conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
Beyond like whether or not Section 31 exists, that's sort of where I begin and end with my conspiracy theories. But is this really like there are people that are convinced that you control the weather?
Oh, completely. Like, violently convinced, to the point they're like, we have to take them out. There was a stretch not that long ago where people were plotting to attack Doppler radar sites in the United States. And I think one person actually did, and like was trying to take them offline because they said that they were using them to control the weather. It's like, we're shooting microwaves to bounce back off of rain. It doesn't do anything. Like, we're just trying to sense where the rain is.
Yeah, but I mean, is the idea then that you control the global weather or just the weather in the States?
Oh, it's all kinds of weather. It could be the weather over one person's house, and they'll be convinced that we only give them rain. Or it'll be like, oh, you're bringing all of this rain in the monsoon season, or you're causing earthquakes to change the geopolitical landscape. And we're just like, what the heck? I work in Lansing, Michigan. Why would I?
Yeah. I love it. It would be great if you're like, no, we can't possibly control the weather to that degree, and then like your house is the only house that's just got a sunbeam sort of landed on it. They're like, no, we can't possibly do that. You're crazy.
Exactly. You're crazy. Well, because we have it's become a bit of a running joke, really, is how frequently we can get emails about this. And someone 3D designed a switch that it says chemtrails or weather control system or one of the funny things, and it's just an on-off switch, and they have it in their background when they do shows. It's just hilarious. It's just levels of trolling.
I will have to check because, again, I'm an old man now. Maybe I'm out of date with these kind of things. But for me, growing up in the UK, the kind of the joke was always that the only person you couldn't trust to tell you how the weather was going to be was the weatherman. Like they, they're the only ones that always get it wrong, kind of thing. And so the idea that they can control it is like, it's the absolute opposite to what we think. We think they've got no clue. Yeah, they don't know what's going on.
Same people who say you're horrible, you're wrong all the time, that say you can control the weather is like, huh?
But you know what you should show them, because like I lived in Italy for a long time, and on one of the channels, like on the kind of the main, like I guess not like the privately owned channels, but the kind of state-owned channels.
Yeah, national.
Even the weathermen, they're in the military, so like they're giving the weather, but they're in like full like military kind of smart dress uniform type thing, and he's reporting the weather. Show that to these people. We're like, no, we don't control the weather.
Yeah. They never address the fact that you'd have, especially in Europe, where you'd have so many different countries that would have maybe different ideas of what kind of weather they'd like to control. It'd just be like spamming back and forth, and the clouds would just be like, I give up.
It'd be like, no, you got to use the machine last week. This week it's our turn to use the machine. We get to have a week of good weather.
It's our turn.
I've got a holiday booked, and I need good weather. So
exactly.
Or a vacation for my American listeners. Sorry. Got to remember, I've got to be international.
Your version is more fun.
Yeah, it's a holiday, and it's like vacation just feels like work. Right.
Yes.
I have a final calibration question for you. We're leaning in still to this theme. If you had to put together, using any character from all of Star Trek, a news team, and obviously because I'm from the UK, you're from the States, we've got different ideas. Maybe we'll obviously use the tried and tested, accepted. This is what a news team looks like, the Anchorman Channel 4 news team, as an example. So we need, obviously, an anchorman. I'll let you have 2 anchors, and then somebody for weather, sports, and a field reporter. Who would you gather from all of Star Trek to create this news team?
Oh, that's such a good question. I think Jadzia Dax would be the meteorologist, because I would trust her with the science any day. Yeah, who would have thought? I would probably have Ben Sisko be sports. He's in touch with it. I know he at least can absolutely nail baseball. Yes. Oh, for the anchors, it depends on if I want to be funny or not, because I could put Janeway and Chakotay, because I hardcore ship them. That would be a hilarious combo at the news desk. Or,
I mean, their chairs on Voyager were pretty much like a news desk sort of.
It looked like they were on the news desk. I'd either go Janeway and Chakotay or Picard and Vosh. I think that would be a funny antagonistic news team. You always look for chemistry. And then for the field reporters have a way of getting into messy situations and just dealing with the worst of things sometimes. So I'm tempted to say Harry Kim, or Miles O'Brien, whoever's trapped in the cycle of being stuck out in the worst situations. I'm realizing I'm picking all classic Trek people, but Boimler and Mariner would be great news anchors too.
Yes. Okay.
They would be so good.
So
there's your options.
There are some great options there.
We got our mornings, evenings, and then weekend teams.
Yeah. I'm also thinking, I don't know, I think Data would be a good field reporter as well.
Oh, yeah. And fairly indestructible, so.
Yeah, which is convenient. And he also gets into, like, you know, I think because he's indestructible, you don't think of it the same way as you do a Harry Kim and a Miles O'Brien. But I can think, like, I can close my eyes and picture a number of times where Brent Spiner has to do that kind of sit up, like from lying on the floor, just up. Because something has happened to Data.
Yeah.
Or Worf at this point. I would.
Yeah. You could have Worf's the camera operator making sure no one messes with the reporter.
Yeah. We talked about people leaving comments. I talked.
Yes.
This is where you should be leaving your comments. This is what we need to know. What would be your Star Trek news team?
I will be watching.
Yeah, because I think that will be fantastic to find out. But yes. I'm glad you liked the question.
Fun question. That was amazing.
Well,
I'm going to talk about that with my co-anchor tomorrow morning, so that'll be great.
Excellent. Well, thank you for coming on the show. That's all we've got time for. Let's end on a positive.
Hey!
No, of course not. Of course not. We've got to do the name of the show. We've got to move into Red Alert. Hopefully you can see that we now have a clock added to the screen. Ooh. Which means it is time to hear your Trekommendation. So, Katie, in 60 seconds or less, what is your Trekommendation and why have you brought it to the show?
Well, my Trekommendation is Star Trek and Chill with the Seventh Rule podcast on YouTube and other podcasting platforms, because I'm on it. And we're very fun. And we talk about, at the end of the week, Friday night, things that are Star Trek. It can be news, it can be games, whatever it may be. I mean, we even made t-shirts, Prune Juice and Chill. We have fun here. And so we just get together with people all across the world. We have people from Brazil, honestly, I should check. I think almost every continent. And we just talk and have fun. It's myself, Melissa Longo, Ryan T. Husk, Charlene Schmidt, Jenny R. Johnson. We have so many different people who join. Back of the Head, John Orchiola. And one of my personal favorite things that I highly recommend for any picky eaters is every Friday for about a year and a half, I've tried a new food every week. And sometimes they get weird, like Italian red meat flavored potato chips.
I mean, what a thing to end on.
Yeah, that's the hook. It's like, you want to see Katie eat weird foods? Come on in. Yeah,
if Star Trek hasn't convinced you to come over.
Yeah, exactly. Come watch The Pain. Because I told my friends I'd never had an orange before, or like blueberries or strawberries. I know it's bad. Still haven't had fish. I haven't had anything from the ocean. No shellfish, no fish. At this point, I'm just afraid I'll be allergic.
I mean, I've got so many questions, and none of them are about Star Trek and chill at this point.
Welcome to the opening for Star Trek and Chill. No.
Yeah. So, hold on. I mean, I know we should never ask how old someone is. Can I have a range?
By all means.
Can I have a range at least?
Oh, I'll tell you dead on. I'm 29.
29. Okay. So I've got 10 years on you. So that's fine. And I would expect probably, with that extra 10 years, I will have experienced some things that you haven't had the opportunity to experience yet. That makes sense, I think.
Yeah.
But I also have a 6-year-old daughter, and she's eaten fish and blueberries and oranges. So at a certain point, I'm like, I don't know if this math is really working anymore.
No, it's not. And
as someone who is a fan of a show that seeks out to explore, to discover new things, how is it that you found yourself? Because when you're like, oh, and I try new strange foods, and you hold up like this bag of Lay's that's got some weird flavor, and it's like, okay, fair enough. Yeah, I get that. It would be some, some gimmick crisp or popcorn or something that they've done. That makes sense to me. Ha ha ha, very funny. But the week that you pull out an orange and say, and the food I've never tried before is an orange, that's weird.
And it took us it is. No, it totally is. It took us a while to get to oranges too. Because and it's not for my parents' lack of trying. I always have to add that little bit to the top. Yeah. They tried. I just was a very strange child, picky eater. I liked chicken tenders and French fries and crisps and whatnot and mac and cheese, and there was so much fun to just stay in that lane. And I never wavered. I didn't like pizza for the longest time until I got to college, and then I've never had the want to expand. I've got apples and carrots and grapes and whatnot, and then I let slip on the podcast that I'd not tried strawberries, and they said, "Well, you have to try now." And then I was like, "Well, here's all the other stuff I've not tried. Peanut butter. I'd never tried peanut butter before."
I don't know if that's allowed as an American. Like that feels, I know, right? Like part of your cultural identity is.
It's in our DNA, except for the people who are allergic. But
well, no, I think the people that are allergic, it's very much in their DNA. That's the problem.
Exactly. So I've gone through. We have an amazing produce store, and I've just systematically gone through every aisle, pulling out every single fruit. And now that I finished most of the fruits, I think I still got a few that I need to go through. I'm like, okay, let's go to the international food section, or we'll go to vegetables or something, because this has been too much fun.
Do you know what though? It is. I don't know if I started doing these fun little. I say fun. People watching them might not agree, but I try to do these fun little skits now on Instagram where I play characters. I make little, in-universe jokes within the Star Trek world. And I was thinking about one where a captain gets called in and he has to kind of be interviewed, and like they want to promote him to captain, but one of the requirements is you have to have a drinks order. And one of the problems we have with you is that every time you go to a bar or a replicator, it's always kind of, oh, what do I feel like today? That's not going to fly. It's coffee black. It's tea Earl Grey. It's, what's your one thing? And that feels like you at this point. You're like,
no, for
chicken,
real.
Tenders, French fries.
I want something nice and simple. I will take a cheeseburger. Because that's the other thing. I still haven't tried ketchup or mustard or mayonnaise or ranch or relish or anything. Like potato salad. We're going to keep doing this for years.
Yeah. It is one of the things where, someone has an idea for a segment of a show. And you're like, what's the mileage that we have on this? Like, how far can we go before? I think about it with this show. The simple answer is, at the moment, I've vetoed episodes of Star Trek. I've had a couple of people that said, "Oh, I'd like to talk about this. It's my favorite episode." And I've said, currently, I'm not doing episodes. That's too. If you're a fan of Star Trek, it'd be like, oh, have you heard of Voyager? Yeah, we've all heard of Voyager. Let's be honest. So it's got to be like, it's a podcast, it's a book, it's a comic, it's a game, it's a, something like that. But there's a load of books. Like we're not going to run out. But I do think about it. At what point do we start kind of running dry on people being like, oh, I've got this book. I don't really like it that much, but it's Star Trek. And then I can open up to episodes, or I can expand to other franchises slightly. We'll see. But
explore.
But But the idea of like, oh, we're going to try loads of new foods. And you think, well, that could be really tricky because we're going to have to start getting exotic and flying stuff in from other countries
Right.
because and you're like, no. We just need to go to any supermarket, any store,
Literally.
just walk down, blindly grab something off a shelf. Probably I've never had that.
Exactly. It's so true. And it comes down to like candies too. I'd never had Reese's cups before.
Of course not.
Peanut
You've
butter
not tried peanut
cups.
butter.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah. And so
you
none of
can't
this.
you can't mix peanut butter and chocolate as your first experience. Like, that's crazy.
Yes, you have to try the elements before you try the combo.
Yeah. You've basically got a periodic table of food, and you're like, oh,
Yes!
congratulations. Now you've ticked off peanut butter and you've ticked off chocolate. We will allow you to combine them into a new element called a Reese's peanut butter cup.
You can build them together. Well, and it's been funny too because we have some viewers who they will not have had that food before either. I think it was starfruit. None of us on the podcast had it,
Okay.
and so it's like, everyone go buy a starfruit. Let's try this together. And it's been fun to go to conventions and find people, and they're like, I tried this fruit because of you, or I really love watching you be miserable eating strawberries, or something. It's like, I'm so
Oh.
happy this can bring people joy.
Here's a question. Did you like strawberries?
I did not. They were.
No.
I think I haven't had the right strawberry. All the ones I've had were incredibly tart, and I am a very sweet, bubbly, energetic, sugary person. So
Yeah. We they're very easy to grow. So we
really,
grew a load of strawberries in the garden, and my daughter will just go out and devour them. She loves strawberries.
Oh,
She's like the opposite of you. Like, try and give her a hamburger, good luck. It's not happening. She will just want veg and fruit, and
Oh,
like, we're coming out of the
I found
supermarket
my
and she's like,
opposite.
can I get some watermelon? Can I get this? Can I get that? Can I get blueberries, raspberries, all of that kind of stuff? And we'll just eat
Wow.
like a whole punnet of fruit like that. But I'm not a
Dang.
massive fan of those kind of fruit. I'm much more like a, give me an apple, give me an orange. That's
Yeah.
The
easy ones.
but I have eaten these other fruits
Yeah. See, there's
because
something
I'm
new.
normal.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's the thing. Like, I am so, like, because, I'm a meteorologist. I chase tornadoes. I'm already on the bizarre side of the spectrum.
Yeah.
Then you throw this in, and it's like, oh, this is just, I am the anomaly, and I love it.
Yes. It's very interesting. I mean, so this is the kind of thing people can get from Star Trek and Chill. This is what we've
Yes.
come to understand.
Completely.
Wow.
Welcome to
Okay.
the chaos.
For anyone who hasn't listened to the show, structurally, obviously, you've mentioned you try a new food every week. Is there a kind of fixed format to the show, or is it a kind of loose? It says chill, so I'm thinking it's loose, but
Yeah.
but I'm assuming there's maybe we go for this, and this, or break it down. How does the show work?
Totally. Well, we have a semi-structure, I would call it. We start
course.
out, we say like, oh, it's been a great week. It's time to chill. Maybe you've had a stressful week. It's time to chill. It is welcoming people in. Everyone on the stream has a drink that we choose to have. Typically for me, it's water because I need to survive. But sometimes we try new fun drinks. I try my food, and then we start talking about anything this week from Star Trek, anything that's news, anything that really stood out in the headlines. And then we just progress down the line. Sometimes we'll show fun images and memes. Melissa, my gosh, she is amazing. She creates these games that we play, like whose ear is it anyway, or whose eyebrow is it anyway, and takes a very close cropped up image, and you have to guess which character it is. It is so much harder than you'd think.
Well, I was going to ask
Except
what
for
your
when it's
success
not.
rate is.
It's maybe 0.15, maybe 0.2, because you get some really well-known characters and you'll be like, no, that's got to be a niche, that's got to be like Optus Baran or something, and you're like, oh no, it's Riker. Oh
Really? Yeah.
great. It's so
I mean, I
fun.
would think the human characters are the more difficult ones. I think someone like Neelix has very distinct eyebrows.
Oh yeah,
But-
and she'll
but-
throw in like the alien species too, and you'll still be questioning everything you've ever seen.
Do you find that though, especially because the show's live, right? So you're streaming
yeah.
live. So do you find, because I find this in daily life, that there will be, it's like, what is 2 + 2? I'm like, well, it's 4. But as soon as you like put pressure on me there, and it's like, now answer that publicly to a room of people that 2 + 2 is 4, I'm like, Is it 4? Pretty sure it
Yeah.
is 4.
Wait a
Why would it
second,
not be 4? Is it 22? Is this a trick? Like, I just suddenly doubt
Yeah,
everything
where's
I
the trick?
think I know. And I wonder if I'd look, I'd be like, well, that's definitely right, because eyebrows. I could pick them a mile.
Yeah.
But is it? But how
No.
stupid am I going to sound if I say Riker's eyebrows and it turns out to be T'Pol? Like, that's a problem, right? That's a big problem.
No, the fun thing is we do that and we fully lean into it because it is hilarious when we're wrong. Because we have the live chat going too, and we can see all these amazing people and they're friends. We meet them at conventions, we meet them online, whatnot, and we know we're gonna razz each other no matter what. We're gonna have some fun. So if you go, for me, my catch is Scott Bakula. I always think Captain Archer. Because I've seen him in so many shows. I'm like, that's got to be his knuckle, or that's got to be his fingernail, or whatever it is. Like, I think that's Scott Bakula, and it'll end up being Captain Kirk. You're just like, no!
Yeah.
But it becomes a fun running joke.
See, I feel like I'd get so analytical on kind of, this looks like TOS production values. Like, it looks like it's been done, or this does feel enterprisey. It's got that slightly more modern lens than the kind of TNG DS9
Is it
voice.
fuzzy? Is it HD?
Yeah. Yes. This hasn't been remastered. That's for sure.
Yeah.
This is a screen grab from a VHS tape. Like, we can tell. Like, this is
exactly. Well, and sometimes Melissa will pull in these like still production photos like they do for promotions, and you're like, this is way too high resolution for it to be TNG.
Yeah.
And then it's TNG and you're like, ah.
Yeah, I was thinking, she'll have the production because maybe they've been sent them. So they're like, so it's got to be like a Strange New Worlds or an Academy. And you're like, no, we just went to the back catalogue and found. Oh, clever.
Well, because we have Jenny R. Johnson, phenomenal painter, and she knows colors, and so she will be like, I think this is going to be a Deep Space Nine. It's giving a Deep Space Nine color palette, or this is Enterprise color palette, and we're just like, we trust you. Yeah. And she gets it right. I'd say of all of us, she probably gets it right the most.
So I'd love to speak to her about the purple gray issue on the uniforms.
Yes, the undershirt.
And be like, what color are they? Can you just tell me?
What really is this?
Yeah, or even, I mean, I think about that as well. I've recently got the green wraparound Pike uniform.
The Kirk one?
So it's the Pike one, but it's it's the Strange New Worlds updated version of the Kirk one. And I'm thinking like there's got to be something in there about like, somebody calling out the captain on why you're wearing green, and him being like, well, actually we're all wearing green, you just can't tell because of the lighting in the ship, or something like that. Like, there's got to be something, but in
this week's episode, the captain's colorblind.
These are things that go through my head during that 10-hour day of work. That I'm just like, could be another funny skit.
Whatever gets you through the day.
Okay, that's a fun game. So that's nice. I get it's nice, I suppose, that it's fun, isn't it? Because you'd think something we enjoy, something we like to watch, something that we choose to use as part of our recreation. I mean, I realize there are some people that it is a career and it's their job to watch Star Trek and analyze Star Trek and talk about Star Trek. And to those people, I say, well, lucky you. But for the rest of us, it's kind of like it's very much a side hustle of a side hustle of a side hustle. Like, it's just a fun little thing we do. And yet, it's very often the opposite of chill. It's quite intense.
Yes.
People are intense. So I do like the idea of it being like, can we just relax? Like, let's just take it easy.
The live chat, you have different people from different areas of the world with different opinions. And it's so cordial. Everyone is so nice because everyone knows each other. And I know people, and I know their faces and I know their usernames, but like I know their real names, but to me immediately the username's like, slap that on your forehead.
I know you're real, but I will forever refer to you as insert username here. What time does it go out live then?
Yeah. Oh, What time's my alarm? It's 8 p.m. Eastern time.
Yeah, which I have a
And
feeling
then
is like
5 p.m. Pacific?
yeah.
It's late for you.
I know. I was gonna say I have a feeling
Yeah.
it's something like 3 a.m. I think, or something ridiculous like that, or maybe it's not that late.
Was it because we're
Let's
what time?
pull up Time Buddy, my good friend Time
Yeah.
Buddy.
Is that 4 or 5 hour difference nowadays? Because we switch at different times.
Yeah,
'Cause
so
humans haven't
we've
figured
swapped
out
as well.
universal time.
Yeah, I mean, I've said this. It's been a few weeks that I've not brought this up, but particularly when I've had guests from Australia or other places like that,
Oh,
I have
yeah.
a big issue with the fact that time zones are not a thing in Star Trek. Not, and I'm not saying on the ship. Fair enough. You've got a station. You're going to set it to whatever time you want.
Yeah.
You've got a ship. It's going to be running on whatever time you want. But don't tell me you rock up at a planet and you hail them and it's always the middle of the day. Like
Right. Yeah.
at some point, or you're on the wrong side of the planet. You're like
They pull
we've
up to the
turned
other
up and we're
continent.
like, oh, here we are. Okay. Oh, where's their settlement? Oh, it's down there. Oh, that's a shame because it's like 3 a.m. for them right now.
Yeah.
So what do we get? I guess we've got a couple of hours to Star Trek and chill, and then we'll go down and catch them up. But it's never an issue. It's never an issue. And it's then my follow-up point is I'm curious as to know whether transporter technology would make jet lag better or worse.
Ooh.
Like flying for 6 hours and then being like on a different time zone, is that worse than just instantly being on a different time zone? Like, does that give you some time to acclimatize or not?
I think it makes you exhausted, so then you're even more affected by the change. I would transport anywhere if I could versus flying.
Okay. I mean, you're talking to someone who went to Florida for 2 days.
Yeah.
I flew there.
Exactly. You've done research.
And I flew back, and I did not. I literally left my house at, I don't know, 6 a.m. in the UK, and I got into my Airbnb at 2 a.m. Florida time. And I had to work at an event for 2 days. And because they needed me there early, I was just like, I can straddle the time zone. I can just do it. I just won't bother adjusting to your time. I'm just going to kind of play with my time. And then, was there for 2 days and then I flew home. There you go. It was not fun. And I do not recommend it for anyone.
You reported back. Wouldn't recommend.
And I was hoping to go again this year. But the jury's out on whether or not I will make it to America this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the weather, at least this time, depending on what time of year, could get interesting. So.
Okay. So if I'm looking up Eastern, so you said 8 p.m.?
Yes, 8 p.m. Eastern time.
Okay. Well, that's only 1 a.m. in the UK. So that's not as bad as I thought. That's not as bad. That's definitely a doable time. I don't know how chill.
Only on for an hour and a half. Yeah. Star Trek and comatose, basically, at the end of the day. You just.
Yeah, everyone like, well, what drinks have we got, guys? And you're like, I've got my water, and someone's like, I've got this, and I'm like, I've got a hot cocoa, and I'm just ready for bed. I'm just
something
wrapped up in a blanket.
Well, because for me, it's basically is 2 a.m. if I adjust my normal schedule, because I start working, midnight, 1 a.m., whenever it may be. And so I work the whole day. Yeah. And then you're like, okay, nap time, wake up, Star Trek and chill, go to bed.
It's good that you've got your priorities sorted, though. That's important.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Can't live without the naps.
I mean, this is the wonderful thing about the global nature we now have, and how easy it is to have calls like this and to be involved in things, on a global scale. It's great, and it brings in, different points of view and different takes and different, because even we experience Star Trek in different ways, particularly if you grew up with Star Trek. So growing up with it in the UK was very different to growing up with it in the States because of the way TV shows work. And, you'd get everything later, and then it's like, well, this channel's going to play it, but when? Is it going to be something that comes out every week? Then suddenly it gets put on a channel, and it's like, oh, now we're playing it every single day, and you're like, oh, what's going on?
Marathon.
Yeah, my there is a channel that my mum just watches on a loop almost, that is just Star Trek, and it's just old episodes of Star. She rarely sees any of the newer stuff, but she's just got the old stuff on just on loop. But I do think it's and I guess things that were really important to some people because they're from a certain part of the world completely passed by somebody else, but then
Right.
somebody else is like, oh, actually, I thought this was really important, or really well done, because growing up here, like, this was a big issue for us. And you're like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
I'd never. So that's really nice, but it does bring in the great time zone debate where people are like,
Yeah.
I've got a really good point that I'd love to share, but I just don't know if I want to share it at 4:00 in the morning. Like that.
Yeah. Well, and that's one of the nice things too, is once we do our lives,
They're there forever.
being primarily on YouTube, yeah, they're there. You can go and you can comment, and we always like tell people like, oh yeah, comment like what food do you think Katie should try next week, or
A
anything.
banana. Yes, I know, something outrageous.
Still
like
haven't had those, so.
Well, if you want my one piece of advice, is just don't have them. They're the
Oh.
worst.
Really?
I would like, this feels like a big confession type episode today, but
Yeah.
my life would be made so much easier if I liked bananas.
Oh no.
Like, they are the perfect gym snack. They're convenient for travel. Like, they come in their own little case, so it's very useful. And my kids love bananas. And I've always told them that the way they know I love them is particularly when they were even younger, and I was having to constantly open bananas for them, and like, that's not fun.
Oh.
I don't like the taste. I don't like the smell. I don't like the texture. Like, it is the one food
strikeout
that I cannot. And we spoke about COVID and lockdown earlier.
Yeah.
And I remember in lockdown, one of the coaches at the gym I go to had put out like a reel about nutrition and food, and it was saying we lock in to our mind foods we don't like at an early age, and we very rarely revisit them. So, like, when was the last time you tried a food that you don't like? And I tried a banana. I cannot eat a banana. I just cannot. There is no part of it that I like. And I'm a very polite individual. So if we're like out for dinner and somebody's made something and I don't like it, I will eat it because I'm too polite. So
Good
I'm
on
like,
ya.
I'll eat this. I just cannot like handle a banana. And I remember once driving and being like, oh no, what's that? Like, there's a terrible smell in the car. Like, what is that? And I'm thinking, is that the car in front of us? Is it like, leaking fuel or something? Like, what is
Something
this?
wrong?
Really weird. And I didn't know that someone in the backseat had opened a banana and they were eating a banana. So it is like one of those things. Or even my wife will sometimes try to trick me. She'll like, when people like mush up banana and put it in like muffins and
Hide it.
cupcakes and stuff. And then I'll like eat this muffin and I'll be like, this muffin tastes off. There's something not right about that. I was like, oh yeah, I used the old bananas to like make the thing. I was like, don't.
Yeah,
So,
you're like one of those explosive sniffing dogs at the airport.
Exactly.
You're like, there's a banana in here.
So I will make fun of you for all the other multitude of foods that you have not eaten. But do not worry, Katie. I would never force you to eat a banana. I will.
Works for me.
Yeah. And if anyone suggests it, you can just clip this part of the podcast. Say, I'm so sorry. I have a get out of jail free card.
Yeah. I love it.
Okay. Oh, right. That was fun. Are there any other? So we've got a guessing game segment. We've got you eating food segments. We've got kind of a news recap. We've understood that the live chat is heavily involved in the conversation. Are there any other gems from Star Trek and Chill that we've missed that I should be like, okay, if you're not on board already with all of this, this is the final thing.
I'd say the final thing is you don't know what we'll do, because sometimes we do some fun, zany things. We've got a little prank coming up that was meant to be on April 1st, but none of us were all together on a stream. So I think we're going to maybe end up making it an April 20-something. Little fun joke between each other and one person who wasn't on the stream when we came up with it. So we're all good friends, and we all talk about how it's honestly like therapy just to be able to be together with friends from Canada and California and Michigan, just middle of the nation. But we never would have known each other if this had been back in the 70s or 80s. And so it's so lucky of us to be able to do these streams. And so there's definitely a general sense of like love and appreciation, and
Mhm.
it makes you happy. At least it makes me happy. I hope it makes other people who watch too.
I don't think it matters at this point. If you're
Yeah.
happy, I mean, that is the thing that they always say of like, if you're starting a podcast or you're like want to create content or you want to make something, if your goal is like, I've got to do this to get rich, this is going to be my career, I'm gonna, this thing is going to take
Right.
off. It's like you've got to do it for you. Like you've got
Mhm.
to enjoy what you're doing. Like, and it's a similar. I did grow up when, and again, being in the UK, even more so, I would have said like, I didn't know anybody growing up that liked Star Trek apart from my mum. Like that was it. Not even my brother.
It's all Doctor Who.
Or my dad. Well, it's not even that. It was like, no, I was very much of the generation where like sci-fi was not cool. Nobody
Really?
would like, and I went to a very
Boo.
sporty school as well, so it was like even more.
Oh,
It was
only
like,
football, nothing else.
yeah, like and my brothers in like my brother will watch every sport like during that part of the season. He's watching that sport, he's going out and playing that sport. And he grew up like that, and I'm much more like, I don't really watch any sport because I prefer a story. And I'm like, well, I'd rather
Nice.
have, if we're going to sit down for an hour and a half, like, I don't really care who wins this game. I would rather just have a compelling story that maybe I learn an interesting lesson.
Yeah.
And that's very hard to get. Well, there's a great talking of sketches. There's a great sketch from Mitchell and Webb, which is like a David Mitchell and I can't think what Webb's first name is, but they're two English comedians, but they had a sketch show for a long time, and they do one where the guy's like coming in, and it's that thing of being sport where you're like, oh, we beat you last night, and he's like, oh, you beat me, did you? You were on the field, were you? And then he
Right,
starts,
yeah.
and he basically starts saying, well, I was busy because I was excavating the Ark of the Covenant, but some Nazis were trying to get, and he just starts going through the whole, the whole description of Indiana Jones, and he's like explaining it, and but as if he was there. And he's like, well, I've decided I really like Indiana Jones. So I'm going to put myself in the same way you do with your thing. But it is that idea of like, you can know, I mean, I'm not very good with like episode names. I've seen all the episodes. Like I've seen every episode of Star Trek, and many of them many
Get the pin.
times. But if you're like, oh, what do you think of episode blah, 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 and you give me the name, I need more than that. I'm like, come on, like, give me, there's a lot of episodes, so give me some I will know, but just kind of give me the cliff notes, and I'm like, oh, okay, that episode, great, fine. So I'm not, but there are people that they have that encyclopedic knowledge of every episode and who directed and who did this and that. But there are people that know like all the stats of their sports team and the players and the trades and the manager, and it's like, you're a geek as well.
Yeah.
It's just you've chosen to be, sport is your thing, right? So you're just as invested and just as sad as you feel these people are.
It's the same
just
tech, just a different
else.
case.
Yeah, like honestly. Anyway.
I like it.
And that rant is now over. So we can
it's so much fun to explore these topics. Oh.
Yeah. Well, and you say, as we said, we have fun here. It might not be Star Trek and chill, but we still have a good time. I'd like to think.
Oh, absolutely.
I'd like to think. Now, I've enjoyed this part of the conversation, but we are going to just briefly move into incoming transmissions.
Oh, brilliant.
Incoming transmission.
So, on this part of the show, if you want to send in an email or something, you can, trekommendations@gmail.com. You can send a DM on Instagram, TikTok, wherever you find me. It's Trekommendations everywhere. It's very easy. Or, leave a comment on the YouTube video. And if you've got a question, or if you want to give some calibration questions, if you want to talk about the show, if you want to call out something a guest said, but not Katie, any other guest, then that's absolutely fine. You can do that. Today, however, I now need to pull them up. I'm just going to go through a few comments that I've had on a recent video I put out where I was talking about the Starfleet Academy petition.
This could get spicy.
Well, yeah. I think I talked about it when it was up to maybe 35,000.
Oh, nice.
And I do have a genuine question in this, which I kind of ask in the video, which is, how many signatures do you actually think would be
Mm-hmm.
needed in order for somebody to reverse a decision. And I go through like
Right.
a whole reason about, well, like I saw the petition shared by a lot of people,
Oh yeah.
and I think some people would potentially sign that petition because their friend loves this show, even though
Oh
they
yeah.
don't care about the show themselves. They don't care about Star Trek at all.
Mhm.
Their friend is passionate about this show, so they're like, well, I'm going to support my friend and I'm going to sign this petition. So I'm like, already numbers are a bit subject, and also like, in my house, two of us were watching the episode, but that's only one view for Paramount. But
Right.
that would be two signatures on a petition, but actually it's only, so if you've got four people in your house, maybe four sign a petition, but it's still only one view, one
Mm-hmm.
subscription. And that's what ultimately they care about, is money and
Yeah.
subscriptions and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I just had some fun comments, but there was one that I just didn't quite understand.
Oh, okay. Those are the fun ones. I like the ones that are not
Yeah,
quite decipherable.
yeah. So this was from Oliver James Allen. Okay. He said Legacy is at 65,000, which I do say in
Okay.
the video as well. Starfleet Academy is already a series and has gone half in a week. I'm guessing that he's up to the 35, so that's half of 65. I got that. In terms of fan support, this is very good. Everyone signing would be watching the show, mate. So I shouldn't have said what I said. That's just a bit stupid. Okay. Moreover, I don't think a single % of the people who would watch this show have signed yet. No one online has seen it yet. And that's where it falls down for. Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. No.
Because he's saying that I'm stupid for the comment I just made to you, that like I think some people would sign this
Really?
petition with no intention of viewing the show. Or even
Yeah.
or even I put it to you that, if a friend of yours who's very passionate about, diversity and inclusivity and things like that, and you said, well, look, this show got cancelled, and I believe the reason the show got cancelled is because they had these characters and the people that watched it didn't
Yeah.
like it, and da da da
A,
da
B,
da.
and C. Yeah.
And that would be enough for that person to go, what? You're joking. I'm rallying my friends. We're going to sign this petition. And I do think that kind of thing can happen. So him saying like, okay, you're stupid if, everyone that signed that petition, they're going to watch. All right, fair enough. I just don't understand the idea that no one that signed. Well, hold on, because
Yeah.
I've now just caught myself here with the double negative, because he's told me
Yeah.
that everyone that signs the petition will be watching the show.
Yeah. No.
But then he said that not a single % of the people who would watch this show have signed yet.
That's.
So he's saying the 65,000 people aren't even the people that watch the show. But you've also said that everyone that watches, the only people that have signed are the people that watch the show.
What time was this comment left? Was it like the middle of the night ramblings?
I don't know. I don't know. It doesn't tell me the time of the day.
No, it's definitely become a bit of an inflammatory topic, which, as fandoms do, they tend to flip-flop back and forth between that. But I think what you said is right. Like, because if I have a friend who has a show that they're really passionate about, they typically tell me and I check it out because I have so many fandoms. Holy cow. But like, even if they're saying, oh, it's getting canceled, I'll be like, oh, well, I might check it out. So let me sign it and see if we can get more from it.
Yeah.
So you could still have new potential people tuning in.
Whereas some people were a bit more. So this is Dirk Shubdub. He said, even if every one of those people watched it, it's still not enough people to make a show lucrative that costs millions every episode. And I do think that's, to me, that is the reality, and I try, and whenever I talk about a subject, I try to be very impartial and just down the middle, and like, it's just the facts here. And this was just my kind of, Paramount, with everything they're doing, with everything they're going through, they are a company that want to make money. And if they are not getting, and it, and the problem is now that like the streaming market is so super competitive, and there's so many shows, and there's so much stuff that, it could even be like the most popular Star Trek show, but if it's not as popular as other shows they produce, they might just say, well, we're still going to, invest in spending our money on these shows because they get more views. and
Right. And even
and
those
that
will only have like 5 seasons.
yeah. Well, like that's the
That
Netflix thing, right? Like the number of shows that I actually know people that they don't watch and it causes this kind of loop, doesn't it? Because there are people that will not watch the first season because they
yeah.
want to know if there's going to be a second season before they
Yep.
watch the first season, and then they go, well, nobody watched the first season, so we're not going to make a second season, and so it's just
Yeah.
this
You
constant.
don't want to get
Yeah.
invested. I will say there was one exception to that in recent years, and Amazon Prime was the one who did it. And it was Has Been Hotel. It's
Right.
a animated adult cartoon musical. It's hilarious. I love it. But they, as soon as season 1 was getting ready to drop, they announced they were greenlit for season 2. So they're like, okay, open the door, you can get invested. Then before, I think, oh gosh, it was a year before season 2 even dropped, they said, oh yeah, we've greenlit it for seasons 3 and 4. We're like,
Yeah.
thank you. Thank you. It's only 8 episodes a season, but like, can more shows have this? Because I will get emotionally attached.
Well, it's funny, isn't it? Because I think like that's, I mean, and that's where you run this issue. Like, so like Starfleet Academy, they greenlit 2 seasons immediately, and people that watched the show and didn't like it were immediately like, oh, well, why have they given them 2 seasons? And it's like, well, because people that might like the show might not watch if they think it's a
Right.
one and done. So
Yeah.
it's tricky to kind of ride that line of, well, we want you to know there is potentially more, but
Yeah.
it does mean, you know, we're rolling the dice and saying, well, we hope we have a good product because we've said
Right.
we're going to make more. Like my fear is, you know, we've seen this happen with movies that studios have just, you know, Batgirl was one example.
Yeah.
Was it
Yeah.
Coyote versus Acme? Like there's another one
Oh
where
my gosh, yeah.
they've just said, you know what, financially, it's better for us to just put this on a shelf and never show it to anyone.
Exit.
And so,
Which should be illegal.
yeah.
That's criminal.
So
Ugh,
if I
ugh.
was
Yeah.
like starting a petition now for Academy, my petition would not be, can we get season 3 and 4? I would be like shoring up, are we definitely getting
Yeah.
season 2? Like, is that happening?
Yeah.
Not,
Are you going to actually edit it?
yeah. Like, can we make sure that they do finish
Well,
that, please?
And it's such a shame because Academy was the perfect 4-season format. Maybe 5 if you want to show the first year out of the Academy. But like it fit what they look for in streaming these days. They have the set built, and with the merger between Paramount and Warner Brothers and that whole thing, like they're going to look to save money. How do you save money? You do a show you already have the set for. So like there's a lot of things that don't make sense.
Yeah. But you see,
And,
I
I mean,
said
that's
this
just the
I
world,
said this
but-
about Star Trek Year 1 because there's a lot of
Right.
whispers and rumors, and they're like, because, you know, they haven't taken the sets down and they've got the sets and that would save them money. And I'm a bit, and you know, I'd love there to be more Star Trek, so don't get me wrong on that, but to me it doesn't make sense that you axe Academy, Strange New Worlds, you give them a short final season. It's like you are clearly wrapping up this whole era of Star Trek to then make another show that's a spin-off of that. It's crazy. And I understand that you reusing the set saves you money, but you know what saves even more money is not making the show. And I just think that's, or, you know, Star Trek Next Generation reused sets and props and things from TOS, well, from the movies. So it's not impossible that they can, you know, flip things on their head, reuse them in a different way, and they can, you know, revamp them. But of course I want there to be more Star Trek, but I'm also, I try to be a bit of a realist and be like, okay, well, yes, you know, the part of me that's like, please, more Star Trek is here. And then the part of me that's like, studios, they always learn the wrong lessons. They never, you know, they're notorious for kind of not doing what, you know, oh, this thing was really popular, so now everything has to be dark and gritty. And you're like, no, that was popular because that character was dark and gritty always. And yes, they, you know, that was just a good movie. No, all superhero movies, dark and gritty. Like, you're learning the wrong lesson.
I think what really has reinforced that and just locked in that Hollywood sees what they see and they don't see anything else is because they've destroyed the fan film industry. And the fan show industry, because if you have a fan film or a fan show that actually thrives by being different, that was a sign to them of, oh, maybe we could try this. Like, I feel like that would be an outside beacon of a testing ground, really. And now with all the legal stuff, no one even bothers until it gets into the public domain. The day Star Trek gets to the public domain, we are going nuts. But until then,
Yeah.
we're
I
kind
don't
of
know
just
if that's
trapped
ever
with
happening.
whatever they want. Yeah. Eventually, like they'll kick the can down the line as long as they can. But even if Disney can't protect Steamboat Willie, they can't protect Star
Yeah,
Trek
but
forever.
that's my worry. Like Disney, because Disney lead the charge on this, and then they set precedent. So Disney will,
Mhm.
be like, well, that's our version of this character, or that's this thing, and
Yeah.
we're still making stuff, or we still use this character. So, like,
Yeah.
because also I mean, this rant's going way off, off on a tangent now, but
We're
like
going on an
I
away
have
mission.
this.
It's fine.
Well, I have this whole thing about like I think, and I said this on a recent episode as well, but like I think recasting like characters is a good protection for the character. I
Yeah.
think with the number of times we see celebrities, famous people get, reveal things that are quite controversial in their life, and then people are like, well, now that character's ruined for me because this actor did or said this kind of thing.
Mhm.
What I love is the idea of like,
Right.
you like Spock, you don't, and I mean, you probably do like Leonard Nimoy, but it's like, it's not that you love
Yeah.
Leonard Nimoy or Ethan Peck. No, you love
Yeah.
Spock, who
Spock.
has now been played by multiple people. And that
Yep.
is, to me, like a nice protection for these characters. Whereas like
It's a very good
next
point.
gen characters, actually, there are certain characters that now people don't like because of things that people have done in their personal lives.
Yeah.
Whereas
Yeah.
if time had passed and we'd seen that person crop up in a new show, in a movie played by somebody else, or this, you'd be like, well, it's the character. So I don't know.
Like a younger version or something. Yeah.
Yeah, or anything really. Just give us more. Just give us more starter. But you're right, fan films. I'm a big podcast listener, but also like audio drama listener, and there are
Oh,
some
yeah.
incredible fan made, like high quality Star Trek audio dramas.
Yeah.
Like that's the kind of thing that spinned off. Like was the idea of doing this show is that I found stuff by chance that I'm like, this is amazing, but
Yeah.
how do you know it? Like, how would anyone know about this show if they hadn't stumbled across it? So like, come
Right.
and tell me more of these things, and then let's tell other
Yeah.
people these things. But
Definitely.
yeah, you're right. Like, there's amazing stuff, and then you listen and you're like, why is this so good? And then you can pick out the beats and be like, well, this just feel, even though it's a new ship and a new crew, and there's not a single old character who's rocked up that's kind of, or anybody who's
Right.
related to any other character or anything like this. It's all completely new, but it feels like Star Trek. And
Yes.
and then you're like, so why does it feel like Star Trek? Let's identify the markers.
Exactly.
And you're like, there
Well,
you go. Now go and
and
make
you
that
see it.
with a budget.
Yeah, put that in with money, because that's one of the things that mercifully has been protected has been fan fiction, and the written version, if it's free, it's on AO3. Like there's so many different ways to access human storytelling, and I just finished a 330,000 word fan fiction. Brilliant. It could be 3 seasons, and I'm just like, it brings in different I don't know the characters. It's not necessarily, it uses some of the characters, but it's their own story. It's like, put these people in the writing room, please.
Yeah.
I want to see this. So at least we'll always have the internet.
Yes.
If nothing else, if there's no active Star Trek in production, we still have the internet.
Well, I mean, you say put those people, but like, I guess that's my hope, because it looks like maybe we'll get some movies, but it just does look like at the moment Star Trek is going the way of Enterprise, and we're just going to we're going to hit a pause, and maybe we're not going to have any seasons of Star Trek for a little while. But what I'm hoping is, well, does that mean when it eventually does come back, like the people that will be writing the shows are maybe those people that were writing these fanfics that were involved in now they are actually, that was something they were doing while they were studying screenwriting, and now they're actually a screenwriter and they can. I don't know. Like,
yeah. That's
I'm a realist who lives in hope.
That's so true. Isn't it such an anxiety-riddled existence we have with that? But with fantastic example, because Star Trek going on hiatus a bit, and Doctor Who going on hiatus at the same time, that's going to be tough for the fans. But what you said reminded me of what Christopher Eccleston had said, being the Ninth Doctor. He would come back to Doctor Who, but he wants a fan who grew up watching him to write it. And like a female showrunner who grew up watching the Ninth Doctor. I think that is so cool. Because yes, we, pay homage to what came before, and there's nothing wrong with being an older fan or a younger fan, but try giving a voice to some of the people who haven't had a voice for the entire fandom's existence.
Yeah.
Just to see. Like, my big push is I'd love to see Tawny Newsome be the showrunner for Star Trek in the next era. I think she'd be brilliant, but we'll see.
Yeah, I also like however you feel about Kurtzman and Kurtzman Trek, and I know people have feelings. Oh, I know people have feelings.
Very loud feelings.
But whether you hate New Trek or whether you absolutely love New Trek, I was like, because it does feel like it's wrapping up a bit, I was like looking back and be like, well, you had all of these seasons of Discovery. You had all of these seasons of Strange New World. You had Picard. You've got Academy. You've had Prodigy. You've had Lower Decks. Like, actually, that's a lot of Star Trek all under one umbrella. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. Just to see what someone else could do with it. Because that is the problem with all franchises. It's like, I'm sure you can pick directors or like, or production houses. You're like, man, I'd love to see what they do with DC, or I'd love to see what they do with Marvel. I'd love to see what they do with it. But they're never going to have the opportunity because it's owned and operated and controlled by these people.
Yep.
And I do think like there will be these people that are fans of the show that grew up watching the show that maybe they're like, I think I can put on paper how this show made me feel and like what it was that got me in, and I think I can like and I do think like, even if they say, okay, Kurtzman's done, that whole thing of Star Trek is done, we're going to bring in something new, that's not necessarily a failure. They've made a lot of Star Trek. We've had, admittedly, like it was different in the past with TV, but you had, what did you have? You had the movies. Let's put the movies aside for a second. But you had TOS, TNG, Voyager, Deep Space Nine, and Enterprise.
Yeah.
And the animated series. So,
And
like 6 shows.
yes.
Like, that's it. So, actually, Discovery, Strange New Worlds, like when you start listing them all off, you're like, oh no, admittedly, they were shorter seasons, shorter, episode runs. But for what modern television is, they had
pretty good.
A big amount of talent. So, I don't think it's wrong to let someone else have a go. Not me, like somebody better.
Yeah.
But
no.
But yeah.
But no, it's you know what would work great for that? If we did a Star Trek version of Big Finish Productions, where you just have audio dramas for Star Trek, and you bring in these new perspectives and these new people, give them a playground where they can be seen by whoever the new showrunner, or if there is even a new showrunner. If it's Kurtzman, then it is. But like, give them a chance in a professional-ish like setting. Yeah. Bring in some actors if they want to come back, and just have a testing ground.
I also think, I mean, and I know you like Tawny Newsome, so I'm sure you like Lower Decks. And I like Lower Decks, but I feel like animated Star Trek it's just always kind of missed the mark for me. And I just think, and I like anime and I like animated shows, and I'm a big and I do think that animation can be a fantastic form of, like, I work with someone who's like, I don't like anime. And I'm like, saying I don't like anime is like saying I don't like films. Like, there's such a genre. Yeah. Like, you might not like action, do anime, but you might like these, like, really kind of emotional, deep slice of life storytelling. And I just think you think about like the Titan series and like that crew and how much time they would spend in makeup if it was a live action show. Yeah. But being able to just make that animated and be like, here are kind of grown up adventures. It's not a joke. It's not, and I get that Lower Decks was obviously, it was a comedy and it was jokey for that reason, but I would love to see it played straight, like great animation. Like, here, we're just going to use, and I know animation costs money and it's not like, oh, it doesn't cost anything, but you can have these big spectacles, you can have these crazy looking aliens, you don't need to worry about real world physics. Like, there's so much. And I just think like we've never really got that. And it's the same with the audio drama. Like, Khan was a great, that was great to see them try something new. And there's some amazing fan audio dramas. And you're absolutely right. Get some people to come in and say, look, we've got this idea for a Star Trek show. Let's see what you got. And they do an audio drama. And, if they're like, this was really, really good. Here's some notes. This is what we'd like to see if we were going to go live action. Not obviously, new ship, new crew, different things, but we like these elements. So can you repackage these elements into a live action show? Bang. Like, they've shown they've got it. So Paramount, whoever's
Exactly.
running the show now, just package all of those things I just set up and
Perfect.
take it to a board meeting and go across it. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, and once again, I say, and if you have thoughts, leave a comment, and subscribe to the
Yes.
channel, and like the thing, and send Katie a
You
message
reached
saying
the
how
3-time
clever.
quota, so.
Yeah, but did they last that long? That's the problem, Katie. Did they last
I
this
feel
long?
like this has been an entertaining enough conversation.
Now, Katie, apart from maybe
Yeah.
turning on the TV and finding out what the weather's like, how can people find you, follow you? What have you got coming up? What do people need to know?
Yes, so you can find me online pretty much everywhere at weather_Katie, Katie. I'm all over the place on YouTube. I'm so many random fandoms, though the station or the channel has kind of gone on a bit of a hiatus because life's crazy. This year I'm optimistic 19 or 20 Comic-Cons in a year, and I've already hit 4. And this weekend I have 2 more. So if there's a
2
convention
more
in the
this
United
weekend.
States, message me. I might be at it.
So you're not going to come to Liverpool for
I
Liverpool
would
Comic
love
Con?
to.
Shatner's there. Like, come on, that's...
Ooh, Shatner goes to every convention. I think that's how he stays young at this point. He just travels the world, soaks up whatever latent radiation is on the airplanes, and then ready to go.
Yeah, so actually, going back to our much earlier conversation, the transport technology would be a problem. He needs the flight. That's what's keeping him young.
That's what's allowing him to do all of this. It's the flights and the horses.
Yes.
100% convinced it's his horses that
There's some combination of these two things that, like, it's, when combined, some kind of Tuvix situation here that, like, combining
Flying
these elements
horses.
creates something. Okay, well, on that note, I will thank you once again, Katie. People, please go and find her. If you probably already know her, you're probably finding me because of her, but let's be honest. But if you didn't know Katie, now go over, follow her, track her down at a convention if you're in the States. It apparently should be pretty easy to do. I will be back, of course, next week with another guest and another Trekommendation.
Ending program.